What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to LTQ Wrestling Podcast. I am BDJ. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed WWE Elimination Chamber. Now, it had some good moments. I was pleasantly surprised with Randy Orton winning. You know, they're going to do him and Cody now at WrestleMania. I thought Cody was going to win all the way. They'll do the multi-man match that's been rumored. Looks like they changed plans, which is a good thing. I do feel bad for Drew in that situation. If that's the direction they end up going in, we'll find out tonight as I'm recording. But again, Randy Orton winning, a pleasant surprise. And let's see if he gets another world title. I'm all for it. Then Rhea Ripley wins the Women's Elimination Chamber. I'll be talking about her and Jade Cargill's match and should Rhea defeat Jade Cargill. Was not surprised with Rhea. That's WWE's top woman of the division. That's Triple H's favorite. It's pretty much the Gunther of the women's division. There are fans, I get it, who are upset, like, oh, why is Rhea in the main event again? She's been in, 5 WrestleMania main events or 5 world title matches at WrestleMania, whatever Michael Cole said. And I get it. But listen, at the end of the day, WWE is going to go back to the well a lot of these wrestlers because the fans still cheer and pop and buy merch and all this other stuff for all these older wrestlers. Rhea's not old. I'm not saying her. I'm more mean like the men's division. So WWE is going to go back to the well. And if we're being honest, who really else? There might be 1 or 2 other women on the roster who would make sense to face Jade Cargill WrestleMania. There's not a lot of options with Belair out. They kind of had to pivot, and they pivoted with Rhea Ripley. And let's talk about the Twitter exchange. So they get into it on Twitter. I'm sure most of you saw that. And I have had people on TikTok saying, you don't know what a work is. How could you say this is a shoot? It's all real, blah, blah, blah. And look, I'm sure it's 50-50. I keep trying to tell people this. Yes, it was agreed upon for them to have a Twitter exchange. I'm sure there was some stuff that was said that wasn't agreed upon, like, Jade saying Rhea goes to WWE Creative and all this stuff. Like, there's always a sprinkle of realness and stuff like this. Like, yes, Jade and Rhea might not hate each other as much as they put out there, but Jade has had backstage heat for a minute now, really since she got up to the main roster. Could a lot of that backstage heat cooled off? They're using this for the feud. Yes, but I do think Jade, and the way she is, rubs a lot of people the wrong way. I don't think she's really as invested in wrestling as a lot of the other women are. She didn't really have to work her way to get to a world title. She hasn't really improved a lot. And I've heard fans also say on my TikTok, she's improved a lot in the ring. How could you say that? She ain't that great in the ring. Let's chill out. Like, I can get some people are a fan of Jade Cargill and all this other stuff, but she's not no Becky Lynch or anything like that in the ring. Even Becky's had her moments lately, but still, she's not that great in the ring. Her promos are decent, nothing crazy, but she's a world champion. And, she's got the look to be a WWE star. I mean, she is an athletic freak. But again, I'm sure there's a lot of backstage jealousy in a way of like, okay, this woman comes from AEW. She wasn't the greatest in the ring over there. She doesn't really put the work in to improve. And she gets a world title. I can understand if that's the reason why she has backstage heat. I can understand that. Does she put the work in? Does she care about it? She said before she's using wrestling to kind of catapult her chances of getting to Hollywood. That seems to be her goal as well. So, like, is she really invested in professional wrestling? And not everybody is. Not everybody grew up watching professional wrestling or loved it as a kid or had their favorites or knows a lot about the business. That's just what it is. Not everybody who plays basketball watched the NBA growing up. They just played basketball. We've heard LaMelo Ball say that. So, like, that happens. So I'm not hitting on that part. But I do think if she does have as much backstage heat that's been reported, it's probably because she just doesn't give a damn about the business. And, it is what it is. She has a world title. She's making good money, I'm sure. She's had success in WWE so far with a lot of, fans and people backstage like that or not. So I can understand why she has backstage heat for that reason. Maybe she just don't really talk to a lot of people backstage. Maybe she just gives off kind of a sour attitude to, thinks she's better than everybody else. I don't know. Who knows? But I do think with this Twitter exchange, some of the stuff they said has some truth to it. Now, some fans think everything's a work nowadays too, though. Like, and I do think, the Rollins injuries really cloud a lot of fans' judgment of like, okay, everything's a work now. We're going to see this on WWE Unreal. We might. Maybe we see the next season of WWE Unreal and they talk about the Jade and Rhea and Chelsea Green and Piper Nevin Twitter exchange and how it just got hyped for the WrestleMania match. And all this I'm talking about is a mute point. But again, I do think that Jade is disliked backstage. And listen, there's been many, many wrestlers who have not been popular backstage who have been pushed. Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan wasn't very well liked. Randy Orton, when he was younger, was hated by a lot of people backstage and fans. So, like, if you can make WWE money, they don't give a damn about how you are backstage or anything like that. Like, if it gets too out of hand, like Enzo Amore, where they're kicking you out of the locker room and stuff like that, then yes. But Jade hasn't had any of that happen to her. So she's going to continue to be pushed because she has the look. Now, the big question is, should Rhea defeat her at WrestleMania? Because Jade's title run has not been great. She's injured Meechin and B-Fab. They were really banking on Bianca Belair coming back from her finger injury. You know, she's been out since last year's Mania, which is crazy to think about. She ended up having to get surgery. I thought maybe she's going to come back and win the Rumble. I'm happy my girl Liv won, but I actually thought Belair was going to come back, win the Rumble, set up her and Jade. Didn't happen. So they had to pivot. And again, a lot of fans can say, oh, well, Rhea Ripley's a safe option. We're tired of seeing her in world title match at WrestleMania. I remember Michael Cole saying something like, this is like her 5th or 6th world title match at Mania already. I think she's not even 30 yet, which is pretty impressive, honestly. But that's, you know, WWE, this is WrestleMania. They're trying to sell tickets. The ticket sales have not been great because they charge boatloads of amounts of money for tickets, which is, I get it, it's WrestleMania, but you're pricing people out. Even Green Shirt Dude has not been at shows in a minute, which is kind of crazy. I've seen a lot of streamers say, you know, we're not going to as many shows anymore because of the prices. So, yes, you can put all these big stars on the show. But again, is the show going to be worth paying for? Like, just because, and AJ Styles said it, WrestleMania doesn't have that same feel to it as it once did. Like, yeah, you could say it's WrestleMania. Is that going to be enough to get people to want to, you know, pay thousands of dollars to go to a show? I don't know. There are people who are going to go to it, but you're not going to have that sell out as quick as they probably thought. To me, Rhea Ripley should beat Jade Cargill. I think it's time for a change. Jade just doesn't really have a lot of competition on the blue brand. Without Belair, there's not really a feud she can sink her teeth into. She's not the greatest on the mic anyway, so it's not like you can have her go out and do a promo battle and get her really going with somebody in a feud. Rhea Ripley's a safe option. You can kind of start fresh because WrestleMania season to me is like, you know, the Super Bowl, the World Series, the NBA Championship. Like, it's kind of like a reset. Like, it's the end of the WWE calendar year. It's the restart. You kind of end stuff, restart. Usually they did a draft or like a shakeup or something like that afterwards, or debuts or whatever. So I do think that would be a good thing to do. Just have Rhea win, dethrone Jade. The question is, what do you do with Jade after that? And I don't really know the answer. Like, after WrestleMania, WWE needs to make Jade Cargill a special attraction just because, like, she doesn't wrestle a lot anyways now, but, like, make her where she doesn't wrestle as much so it doesn't expose her as much in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like Ronda Rousey when she was there and not really wrestling every other week or so. She was kind of on certain premium live events or pay-per-views. I feel like they need to take that route with Jade. Just have her kind of appear here and there and do that, because I don't see her being an on-screen talent 24/7 every week. It just doesn't really work because there's not a lot of people who she can work with. So you have her drop the title, figure out what to do with her after that. I'm not sure who she should feud with. Do you save her for the Belair feud? I don't know when Belair's coming back, so I can't really say you should wait for that. But to me, Rhea makes the most sense to win. I don't see Jade beating Rhea. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense to do that. Now, you can make the argument like maybe this is the start of Jade having a good reign. I saw a comment on one of my TikToks saying that, like, oh, this is the start of Jade having a good reign. She beats Jade or beats Rhea, excuse me, and goes on to have a good title reign. I mean, maybe, but it's just this title reign's been just so bad so far. I just feel like WWE is just gonna, you know, pull the rug up and just say, okay, now's the time to just do something different with this. Like, let's go with Rhea. We can do more feuds with her. Maybe we could do her and Io. That was a match that was rumored before they did this. And I do think if Belair would have been healthy, they probably would have went with Rhea and Io at WrestleMania. Obviously, plans changed. WWE's had a lot of injuries going to WrestleMania season, so that definitely hurt this match. But I do think Rhea just has more capability of having better matches, better feuds, and she's more over than Jade. So if you put the title back on her, I think that would be the best decision personally. Now, could they shock me and have Jade retain? Maybe. I just don't know where you really go from there because the Blue Brand women's division is just not very good. I mean, you got Tiffany Stratton, who her and Jade's feuded before. You got Nia Jax, her and Jade. No. maybe Lash Legend, but I don't know if she's really ready for that yet. And then you have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. I mean, I guess you could do that. I mean, a lot of teases were made about Charlotte and Jade. That was one match I thought they potentially could have done at this year's WrestleMania. They did not go in that direction. Charlotte wouldn't even end the chamber. So there's still potential matches, maybe her and Bliss and her and Alexa, but like outside of that, there's just not a lot to work with. So we'll have to see. I go with Rhea winning, though. I think this Twitter exchange adds a lot more heat to the feud, which is a good thing. It needed it. And hopefully WWE continues to build up this feud and many others heading into WrestleMania. Let me know what you guys think about the Rhea and Jade feud down below in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe for more LTQ Wrestling content. Peace.